Breakfast, the most important meal of the day. Eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. Sometimes when I do something good for myself, I go to a cafe or a bakery and have breakfast. Like a few days ago. I had to swallow a little because my seat was occupied by a rosy-cheeked woman who gave me a friendly smile. I just got back from the doctor from my annual blood test with a bandage on my arm. I was sitting at an adjacent table and we started a casual conversation. Meanwhile, walk-in customers kept coming in the bakery. The automatic door kept opening and closing, and the cold on this winter's day made me put my winter jacket back on. I love such settings, that touch of everyday life and reality. Then we got into a conversation with the saleswoman, who was also cold and who mentioned that I had put the jacket on. We joked about it and she had to laugh when I told her to get a yellow winter jacket in the colors of the bakery. Meanwhile, the door opened and closed several times and new customers came into the bakery. Meanwhile, I bit into my salami roll again and took a long gulp of coffee. "You have a very healthy breakfast there," said the woman with the red cheeks, who also had grey hair, when she saw the pieces of tomato and cucumber lying on my plate. I noticed that she was munching on a roll with butter and jam, also a coffee next to her. What she had there didn't seem like a regular breakfast from the breakfast menu. I got up, took 2 steps towards the counter and took down the display with the breakfast offerings and showed it to the lady. "It's just a side dish." I pointed with my finger on the chart at the breakfast I was eating. This menu was new to her, although she was also a regular customer and, as it turned out later, had known the waitress for years. I'll have that next time too. I put the menu back and finished my sausage roll. As it turned out, the woman, who looked considerably younger and still had all her senses, was 20 years older than me. She said so when I said I was 57. She also just came from a doctor's blood test. I can't even describe here how much I appreciate and love these little small talks, which just float mostly shallowly along the surface with complete strangers. These are the oases of everyday life in a street cafe in Dresden. This is life itself, with the cold air coming through the automatic door, making the shop assistant and customers shiver. My glance falls on the woolen gloves that are grabbing the coffee to go that the saleswoman is putting out. "The next, please." "Can I have a tomato mozzarella sandwich, please?" I describe this scene in such detail because it depicts a segment of life, of my life, which will never be repeated in the same way, which is lived mostly superficially and not understood in its depths, which is lived through hectically because one's life is always on the go to what one considers to be really important. Whatever that is. What did the woman at the next table say? She is 20 years older than me. 20 years? Is that a lot or a little? 20 years ago I was 37, a period of time that I can still consciously look back on, and which now feels like it passed in no time at all. When you are 20, you can't look back that consciously. The older you get, the more aware you become of how precious and wonderful life is, even if it was hard and fateful. 20 years. Another number goes through my head. 60. My mother died at the age of 60. How your perspective shifts as you get older. Perhaps it's clearer now why I went into such details through this whole trivial bakery scene that happened in maybe 40 minutes or an hour. These small islands in life are life itself. These small interpersonal relationships are life itself. They are everywhere, at the bus stop, in the elevator, in the laundry. And they are anything else but small and trivial. Like the cartoon of the meditating Zen novice who, after 5 minutes on the meditation cushion, asks his master, "And what comes next?" But that's it. This is life, lived and loved consciously and gratefully. The older I get, the more often I experience moments in which something opens up in me like a source of acceptance and gratitude, something that feels deep and important, as if the real, the essential shines through. Or I could put it another way. It's like talking to an old woman in the bakery on a cold winter's day.